there for the side of Vici. So we're gonna break down the second draft. I'm joined here by Mo Farah, ready to give you game 2. So we'll see if Vici can push this to a third game,
Yeah,
or if we're gonna see EHOME take the series.
I think it's the biggest problem for me though is that they pick these heroes that can only fight every so often, right? Like the way we're seeing the patch, at least in Europe, being played a lot of the time at the moment, is that people pick heroes that can fight at all stages of the game. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we're starting to see kind of like more Queen of Pains. Like Ember's a really good example as well that got played by Nothing to Say last game. You know, these Bristlebacks, Razors, whatever. You know, the problem is if you pick two heroes that kind of have the similar timing where they have this massive downtime in between, it just means that EHOME, if they don't ever take like a really bad fight on their side of the map, then it was always going to be difficult for Vici to try and like make anything happen.
Yeah, Vici was playing, like you said, those high cooldown heroes where you had to wait on Exorcism or wait on Shapeshift, or most of the time really wait on both, where EHOME were always ready to fight. Sylar on that Riki, what's he really waiting for? Ember pretty much, was able to fight the entire time. Jinkyu's there, able to fight basically the entire time with that Clinks. Like, what was the longest cooldown? False Promise or Hookshot?
Probably Burning Army, but you don't even need it, right?
Oh, yeah, Burning Army is 110, right?
Yes, something like that. I don't know, but if you look at EHOME's bans, though, right? Like, these 3 cores that they ban out first are exact examples of the kind of heroes that people have been picking a lot at the moment because they fight all the time. Like, DK Monkey and Timber, these guys that just sit at the front, they don't really care about anything in the world.
And now they go to the Death Prophet, which is exactly the opposite of what we saw from them in the first game. But it is Death Prophet, which you were saying was EHOME's kind of pick.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the exact opposite, because Spirit Siphon's still a really strong skill. Like, you can fight, but it's just when you have 2 cores that do the same thing, they kind of like, they have the same problem and they have the same flaws, so they get punished really easily. But if you just have 1 core that does it, it's not really the end of the world. I think especially now that tier 2 towers are harder to take as well, having a hero that can push buildings it feels really good in your lineup. So I think DP's still just a really strong hero in its own right. And Vici have to be wary that Oracle's still in the pool. So if EHOME get the chance to pick it in the second phase, they probably will. Sorry, the second pick overall, I mean. They probably will.
Yeah, and also EHOME again, just kind of banning Eurus with the Monkey King as well as the DK. This time not as much, as they did go to the Timbersaw, and now they've banned the Shadow Demon, maybe thinking that that was the biggest problem that they had to deal with in the first game.
Well, I think the Shadow Demon ban is more just because they really wanted to first face DP. And so if they ban the Shadow Demon and they pick the DP for themselves, like I was talking about in the first draft, Shadow Demon is one of the best counters to DP, especially from a support role as well. It's kind of like a massive go-to, because you have the save duration for like a silence, but you also have this, really good purge against the DP. It's just, slows her down constantly. She can't use herself because it's being purged all the time.
And they go to the Oracle Rubik, and that'll be PYW on the Rubik, DY on the Oracle. And this is, we saw the Rubik banned by Vici in the previous game, I believe, in that third phase.
Yes, yeah.
So
I'm not surprised. I was really surprised that this hero didn't get picked up earlier on, because I feel like both these 4 players play Rubik really well. I don't know if Jinkyu's playing it a lot at the moment, but he's definitely got it in his repertoire. So I thought they'd be something they value more highly. I just feel like this hero covers a lot of bases with what you want to do. Like, it does really well in laning stages because of Fade Bolt. You have the instant telekinesis as well. So all these maneuverable heroes like Ember that are being picked up all the time, at least you have some kind of like instant initiation for them. Ooh.
SAPPHIRE coming in for EHOME. We'll see if that ends up being for Innocence. I believe it should be a 5-position SAPPHIRE, but we'll see. They ban on the Gyrocopter again, just focusing on those Eurus heroes to take away. And now Vici, they ban out the Ursa, but Ursa wasn't a hero that we really saw too much of and aren't seeing too much of recently. What would be the reason potentially behind a ban of an Ursa?
I think Ursa is one of these heroes though that covers the weaknesses of the DP really well. So like, but it's a hero that wants to come online relatively quickly. Like you can take Roche really easily early on, which like DP loves as well. It works really well with the SAPPHIRE in the laning stage. You have so much burst damage between the two of them, and I think if they know that they want to first, pick this centaur for themselves in the second phase of picks, banning out the Ursa's pretty good going. I like the Vici go back
to that Ember.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Vici go back for this Rubik Centaur though. I feel like this is something that's been popular in every region for a long time now. This lane combo, it's just so solid.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. Maybe not as strong as it once was, but still having that telekinesis into the hoof stomp as well as having that retaliate damage is something to really hone in on and potentially win your lane with. Although now on the flip side, with EHOME picking up the Ember, that doesn't mean it's a nothing to say Ember. Yes, it was nothing to say who was on the Ember in the previous game, but it could be nothing to say on the Death Prophet, and now Xingqiu taking over the Ember.
I also think, I don't know if they have the capability to do this, but putting DP safe lane and putting Ember mid is also a possibility here. Like, they have massive flex values within their lineup already. So I don't mind this at all. I think their lineup looks really good. Ooh, interesting.
So one of the things with Terrorblade that just doesn't happen that much anymore, which I saw a couple times in the Chinese region, is Ag's Terrorblade. I think it's game winning. Me and Winter have come to the conclusion it's amazing.
It can be really good, but the problem is, like, I don't know when you would build it, because you need so many other items on that here, like in terms of stats, right? And you need like BKB. Sometimes you need like Satanic +1. So it's like a really good like late game item, I think. But I struggle to see when you would build it, or at least I wouldn't know when you were supposed to build it at an early point in the game.
First. I forget when it was built. I think it was like second or third item. It might have been, I think the build might have been Boots Butterfly Ags. Does that sound right? I think that might be it.
At least the Ags does give you some stats, I guess. Yeah, and I really like this pick. I think it makes Terrorblade's life absolutely horrendous. Especially in the laning stage as well, because the TB takes so much damage from the Firestorm as well, because its HP pool isn't that high. They have the more lockdown now available from the pit as well, but it's also like a Crimson builder. So if you look at Vici's lineup at the moment, their damage that comes out from their lineup is so minimal. Like, they need another hero that does damage in their mid lane. Otherwise, they're really going to struggle, because this Underlord's going to go like Crimson Greaves or something. And I think this TV's really going to struggle to do anything in the fights.
Now they ban that Zeus. I love watching Faith Beyond on this Underlord. And are they thinking Zeus ban for a Zeus 4 or Zeus ban for a Zeus mid?
I think it could be either, but Zeus is just a really good hero against Terrorblade in general. They need some more magic damage on EHOME, I would assume. And this is where Nothing to Play played the Tinker yesterday against a Terrorblade, which I actually think is still an option for them. They're probably thinking about whether they would want to do it, but it would make their lineup really greedy, is my problem.
Do it. I need to see Tinker in the meta again. I have to.
Because they have really bad
The fact that I missed that game.
They have really bad catch on Vici as well, right? So, like, it's not an awful Tinker game.
I mean, it's down to, Fortune's End, Telekinesis, Hoof Stomp. Telekinesis is really the only one that's guaranteed, basically. I mean, the fly-out time and the Fortune's End may not line up with what you're trying to do, or, maybe you're trying to set it up on an ally. So they could definitely use another stun here on Vici, but it definitely feels like a little bit of a lack of catch for them overall.
I think they are thinking about what they want to... Ooh, Huskar. What do they want to pick then?
Tinker. Give me the Tinker.
I don't think
it has been so long.
Huskar, though, would be my worry. I think the thing behind the Huskar is that they have Oracle, right? And I think the main way that Vici would try and win this game, looking at those heroes at the moment, is that they just start running down lanes. And Huskar is very good at that. I don't know if you've had it in your pubs before. It's horrendous to play against if you don't have a hero that's good against it. Like, because they don't have a good Vessel buyer either, really. Like, Ember could, but if he's playing POS 4, but it takes a little bit of time, because that hero doesn't farm particularly well from the POS 4. Because he don't tend to not put points in Flame Guard, so you don't really farm at all.
Oh, I'm disappointed. My disappointment is immeasurable, but Troll nonetheless to line up this or round out this EHOME lineup, and it should turn into what? 1 Troll, 2 Death Prophet, 3 Underlord, 4 Ember for Jinkyu, and 5 Sapphire.
I would assume so, yeah. I mean, it's a hero that does okay against this Rubik Centaur lane, which I think is really important. I'm not sure it's an amazing pick, but I'm pretty sure... Does Sylar go Battle Fury when he plays Troll? I think he probably does. I think that's
I think he definitely leans towards it a little bit more, especially because we just saw him do the same thing on that Ricky, which is... from what I've been seeing Ricky's, normally it's been like Diffusal Manta.
I mean, it's a really good diffuser game for the Troll, though. So he might just look
He could do both again.
My
could
only
certainly
worry is
do both again.
My main worry is they don't really have a save for the Troll. Not really. So it's not like an amazing Troll game, but it's always going to be decent.
Ag Snapfire save?
Sure.
ASAP?
You know what? Do it. I haven't seen it in a pro game yet. The Ag Snapfire. I actually don't think I've seen it in any of my games that I've played either. So
it's very fun.
It sounds like it. You can imagine chucking in a DP with Exorcism and then she just dies instantly. Sounds great.
Here comes the OD for Ori.
I think this OD is a massive bait pick, honestly. I feel like their draft is now so slow. Like, they have TB and OD on the same lineup. I've seen this before, and I think it really struggles to work. Like, I think this DP is just going to run at your buildings over and over again. And especially when there's a Troll as well. Like, OD's good against Troll in like a closed box scenario, right? Because the Troll has, really bad ink gain. You can blow him up really quickly with the OD. They have good save as well with the Astral, which is really nice from like things like the Troll, especially. But I just think the tempo of the game that EHOME can play in comparison to Vici is just completely different. I think if Vici need to win this game, they're going to have like a really good start to the game to make sure they don't fall behind too early.
I think that's maybe something that comes down to how well does Jinkyu play in this opening, this opening early mid-game point where we saw him with the Clinks move around, make plays, get kills, enable lanes, and he's certainly on a hero here that might be able to do that and move around and get a slight with Searing Chains and lock down these heroes and enable, say, something like a Faith Beyond, Firestorm, Pit of Malice, Searing Chains, death damage that's going to be coming from EHOME, or maybe he lines it up with comes up in Fire Snap Cookie into a Scatter Blast as well as Searing Chains. Like, there's so many options, it seems like, early on for this lineup, especially if Jinkyu plays the way he did in the first game.
I also think that this first Exorcism usage is going to be really important this game, because if Ember rotates towards the mid lane to work with the Exorcism from the DP on the Catapult wave, they have really good potential of just taking the tower straight away. And we saw EHOME last game, they weren't afraid to just TP in loads of heroes at once and defend that tower. Like, I think they TP'd in 4 heroes mid, right? And I wonder if Vici are going to be able to do the same thing here when the DP comes, smashing back the other way with the Exorcism herself this game. On Nothing to Say. Be interesting to see. If mid laners get their ward down.
Didn't anybody spot the other one? Placing that one down?
No, I'm pretty sure they didn't. I'm really surprised more mid laners don't try and check for these wards, though, with, like, walking under tower range and stuff. I feel like it's such an easy thing to do.
30 seconds to battle.
So where is Jinkyu setting up? So far, bottom with Sylar. But we'll see how much he's going to move around.
He loves this Orb of Venom start on the way. By the way, as well on Ember, Jinkyu. It's his go-to, pretty much.
What's the 4 build in terms of skill build?
Battle begins.
I think pretty sure he goes 2-4-0, from what I can remember. But I'm not 100% sure. So I'm pretty sure you don't take any points in Flame Guard, and if you do, it's only 1. Because you want the poke damage mostly, right? where you just, you're constantly just spamming Slight on them. Oh, that nice ward sees Xingqiu starting in the bot lane here. They're actually putting the Snapfire with the Underlord. Interesting. So they want the raw damage up against the TB to try and push him out of lane more. And they're just leaving the because they understand that the troll should do okay down here without too much help. So they're just putting Xingqiu down here to be the one that's constantly poking.
Fable early from PYW. See how early he goes into the telekinesis, if it's going to be that 1-1 or just a 1-1 to start, meaning that telekinesis would wait till level 3 at least, but for the Centaur it should be maybe even late on the hoof stomp. I know I've seen Centaurs go double edge and a second in retaliate before they take the hoof stomp.
I think in a lane with a Rubik though, you probably want hoof stomp nearly all the time at level 2, because you have really good kill potential when you have lift into hoof stomp at 2. So it's probably what they want to work towards.
So Faith Beyond, see how hard he makes this lane right now for Eurus, especially with the help of Innocence. He's got that Scatterblast early on. And this can certainly be a bit difficult if a Firestorm is laid on top of you and a Scatterblast, then, you're just slowed up and dealing with all this damage.
Yeah, I wonder whether he goes Ring of Tresk as well on this TB. I've seen some people do that in EU, but not everybody. I don't know how popular it is with TB players in China. Yeah, there's the level 2 though. Lift into stomp. Free kill.
I came here to be tested.
Easy does it, gets the kill there on the Xingqiu. Something that, something to look out for just because of the fact that we were talking about, how much of an impact will Xingqiu have early on. And that's some negative impact for him already.
Yeah, he is not having fun. He's picked up the stick, which is going to help him a little bit in the lane, but it's not really enough, right? This troll just kind of has to get whatever he wants, but this Ember 4 isn't really built for the laning stage. Like, you don't pick this hero to have a good lane. You pick it for what it can offer afterwards with, the constant poke damage. And, it changes really good lockdown as well. 3-second duration before the Talon. It's a lot of damage, and it's constantly coming through in fights. I wonder what item build he's going to go for this game. I assume he goes for, he's got Urn queued up, but I don't know if he rushes straight into a Vessel or if he goes for, a damage item like he did on the Click this last game.
Yeah, he went very greedy, but he also enabled himself to allow that to be a possibility.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And he played all around the map, and he was able to get kill after kill after kill, or be involved in kill after kill after kill, and then all of a sudden he had a medallion, boots, and was going into a Desolator before we knew it.
Faith Bian is playing with fire on the Underlord at the moment.
Oh, Purifying Flames. Fortune's End, and... Okay.
This is going to be a triple wave coming the other way, though, right? So, this death doesn't really mean too much, to be honest. Right, it's going to free up Innocence to kind of, move across the map a little bit here, and Ori's really low mid. So they might try and make something happen here. They have this ward, so they're going to see him coming, but... Yeah, Ori's just going to salve up and chill out a little bit when Innocence just secure the 4-minute rune. You see both these supports are actually rotating towards the mid lane to try and secure the runes.
Neither of these heroes have a bottle just yet, but securing that rune, pretty important at the 4-minute mark. You don't have to leave it for anybody, as they, like I said, don't have bottles. But that'll put the illusions heading toward top and the real Innocence going bottom. So they look over to get the kill here on Yang. A lot of damage coming through with the Fable. It's not going to be enough, but the Fire Snap Cookie lands on top of PYW. They have the Scatterblast with this. Xingqiu has Searing Chains to add to the mix, and all of a sudden, 2 kills here over bottom for EHOME.
Really good rotation by Innocence, and this is the power of having this triple wave just pushing in top. I like what Eurus is doing. He wants to try and use the triple wave to try and push the tower in a little bit, but with the Firestorm spam coming out from the Underlord, it's so easy to defend the tower because it just pulls all the aggro off. And all of a sudden, he's level 4.5 on Faith Bian. He's absolutely loving life at the moment.
So, good job there for Innocence to go over towards bottom. He now sits level 3.
Yeah, amazing rotation by him. He's done massive amounts of work in the last minute or so by securing the top rune and then TPing bot to secure the double kill. And in a lane where like Ember Troll can't really do anything, these rotations really mean a lot for them because it secures the Troll so much farm early on. I was wondering what skill build he might go for on the Troll as well. I think 141's the most popular, but more points in the Berserker's Rage has been seen before by me. So,
DY coming in with PYW. They're thinking about it, but nothing to say. He needs to be careful. DY throwing the Fortune's End, that'll stop him in his tracks, but at the same time, Jinkyu nearby, looking for potentially Searing Chains. Not exactly the easiest move now that you've got Death Prophet low on health.
Oh, nice ward deny by PYW. He just put it down, and it's a shame that it gets scouted out, but if they get the deny, it feels pretty good. And this is what I mean about the level 6 on the DP, by the way. Like, she hits this point where she could have Exorcism, and all of a sudden everybody's just mid. Because they understand that they need to make sure that this catapult wave just doesn't destroy their tier 1. But she actually goes 3-0-3.
Which is different from the build we saw come in from Ori in the previous game.
Yeah, I think it just depends at the time whether you think you can get anything done with the Exorcism. And nothing to say was probably like, well, there's just 2 heroes like sitting in my lane supports now, so I can't really push this tower. Might as well just get a third point in the Crit Swarm.
Good fire snap cookie as Eurus tries to go into the Sunder to survive, as well as Sylar going down bottom, so one position's traded.
Literally just a mirrored rotation, which is pretty cool. The most important thing here is, though, that for the Radiant, they have the catapult still alive in the top lane. So they're actually going to be able to get a lot of damage up on this top tier 1, and I don't really see a way of Vici being able to defend it. I mean, Rubik's going to TP top and use the Fade Bolt to try and push it out a little bit, but Faithgan should be able to get it. At the
same time, yeah, he's got 80 extra damage. That is starting to go down from the Atrophy Aura, but certainly enough to put a bit of a wallop on this top tier 1. Sylar might be in trouble again. Eurus now bottom. Metamorphosis is committed to this. Sylar, he's got Battle Trance maybe to survive or at least extend his life as Ori goes down over mid. So Sylar does exactly that. He takes the attention of 3 of these heroes down bottom to allow them to get a kill over mid in a tower with the Exorcism.
Yeah, this is the Exorcism though. Like for Sylar, this feels really rough. But the fact they get the top tier 1 to half HP and they're using Exorcism to like almost kill the tier 1 mid as well. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's not an awful trade for EHOME overall. It just, Sylar's game is now like really sad because he has no TP either.
Scatterblast on the run, Exorcism on top of him. They get the kill. And now the Astral Imprisonment coming in from Ori, but is it going to be enough? It's on to Nothing to Say, who's now back at full health. He's got the Spirit Siphon on Ori. The Searing Chains comes through onto Yang. He'll use that Hoof Stomp to stun up Nothing to Say, but it's not doing enough. Sanities, then a Fade Bolt from PYW gets Innocence, but just Innocence. Really, that's a big ult to use to just get a 5.
Yeah, but I think in these early stages of the game where you can't really build up the... I don't even know what they're called. Like the little token things you get.
On OD?
Yes. What are they called? One charge.
Just charge.
It just says. You can't really build up the charges early on, so any kill you can get with the sanities is like super worth it. It's like when you play Void and you just chrono a support at the start of the game, right?
That's why you go into the Ags. You know, you've got yourself, instead of getting minimal charges. What was I gonna say? The Astral, the Sanities charges, you get more with the Astral Imprisonment. You get 3 per Astral Imprisonment. That's why you're going into the Ags instead of 1 per Arcane Orbit. So you've got the Ags, so it gets 6 to start it off, and then you'll have the extra from the Arcane Orb.
The Ags is also just super good this game because it helps them kite the troll around, which is going to be the most important thing. Like they can just permanently Astral Imprisonment him pretty much. Like, you know, he's going to really struggle to do anything. It's also a really good save against the DP as well. If they have this double save mechanic on the dire side for Vici with the OD and the Oracle, and DY hits level 6, so they're feeling pretty good. PYW is also level 7, by the way, on this Rubik. And I haven't talked about it, but he's playing Rubik into Underlord, which is like one of the... it feels so unbelievably good. I cannot begin to tell you, because Firestorm's really good against like Underlord himself, because he's a really tanky hero. But if you ever steal Pit, it's It's crazy.
God, look at that firestorm.
Yeah,
Radiant's
it's such
bottom
a
tower
ridiculous
is under
skill.
attack.
With Arcane Supremacy as well, like the damage you get from it is off the charts. Oops, I didn't mean to do that.
Can't believe you do that. All the players saw that, by the way.
Yeah, I wish. Oh, what the hell does this guy know?
So they take control of both outposts, but it was one apiece on the split. And a 1,000 net worth lead right now for Vici. I don't know if they've done enough shutting down Uranus. They got that one kill earlier when Sylar ended up falling. He sits almost 1,000 gold behind this Terrorblade, and that's because Terrorblade has had a bit of an easier time.
Yeah, I think the gold difference though at the moment is basically just coming from the supports. The PYW Rubik has gained a lot more in terms of net worth so far because he's managed to have a little bit more space. He also has Optic, so like he feels insanely good this game. Like he's had the perfect start really. He's managed to get a lane to just get farm for himself. Like he can push waves up because he has the double nukes with Firestorm and Fade Bolt. He has Keen Optic. So he's just on the map all the time.
One of the things that's surprising too is the fact that both the tier 1 top and the tier 1 mid are standing for Vici at the moment. I think there was opportunities there to really get some kills on some towers, and ultimately Vici didn't lose either tower yet. But Mortimer's Kisses and PYW, they'll survive as the hoof stomp came out from Yang. They'll also use themselves the Stampede to try and survive. Look at the damage coming through on a Jingqiu quickly, but DY and PYW drop. Jingqiu runs back into the Firestorm. Maybe...
Oh, mid though.
Maybe in a poor judgment call there, but now Nothing to Say ends up dropping to Ori as that Sanity's committed on that one.
What have we here?
Oh. Innocence putting the period down.
Radiant's middle tower
End of
is under
fight.
attack.
Definitely a lot of saves for Vici. Make sure that they can really kite this Troll's play. They'll have 2 Astro Imprisonments. They've got the False Promise. Telekinesis could certainly be a nuisance here.
I am just trying to sort out an echo problem at the moment. Give me a second.
Sure. I'll try to move away from my mic, make sure it's not me as well. But as we talk about this, it's sitting back at about even in terms of net worth, and that is because now Jingqiu has surpassed this Rubik in farm. And it was the Firestorm that was available for PYW that was really ramping him up. Now he's going into the Aether Lens. He's fallen behind a little bit. I think Jingqiu evening it up, but he'll steal the Fire Remnants. So PYW happy about that.
Oh, dude, that feels so good on Rubik, actually. Especially when you get Ags later on in the game, it's absolutely hilarious. You just blow people up with like 5 remnants all at once.
What does Heroes have? He's going in the Manta early. Nothing to Say who is sitting top of the net worth right now, but take a look over towards top. Innocence. And he gets killed here by Yang.
Joe, I really hate that cookie interaction. That if you die on Snapfire, like wherever you would have been when the cookie, like wherever you die, even if you're in the cookie duration, like get stunned on the floor still. Which is ridiculous.
Faith Beyond going mech. So Greaves Crimson was the guess at the beginning of the game. It might be Greaves Crimson or just at the end of the mech, and then Crimson, then Guardian Greaves, which is usually what we'll see. But right now, just having the TV this far ahead of Sylar, it's certainly a good feeling for Vici. Sylar has not been able to put it all together just yet. He isn't going into the Battle Fury. That's something you spoke about in the draft.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about the Battle Fury. I mean, it's a decent item on Troll. Like, it feels really good when you get it up, when you pick it up, because your farm speed goes through the roof, right? Especially with how quickly you farm. And the thing is, because you have really high attack speed naturally, because of the fervor, like, any damage item you pick up feels, like, insanely good. Because, you know, you're going to be doing so much more damage, you know, constantly poking people.
I love that. The fact that Spellsteal has that travel time. Because he stole Pit of Malice from Faith Beyond, but then he remnant back towards the secret shop, and it took forever before he was able to get that Pit of Malice actually on him. And Pit of Malice comes through from PYW, now from Faith Beyond. They look over at the Centaur, who say, got the silence on. They'll use the Stampede, they'll try to lock him down. Yules comes in from Death Prophet, so Yang locked up on this, but he gets the hook stomp on it too. The Fire Snap Cookie comes in, and they try to get this kill, but look at the Pit of Malice from PYW. There's not much to follow it up just yet. Mortimer's Kiss is flying through, and it's just gonna kiss the cheeks of both DY as well as Yang, and they'll take out both.
This is the tempo that they play there, right on the Radiant side. This OD and TB, still neither of them can really fight. I mean, OD has Ags now, so he can a little bit more. He's probably going to try and get involved a little bit but now. But again, like, TB still needs time. Like, he needs this BKB really before he can fight this game. Otherwise, he kind of just gets melted really quickly. And Sylar's actually about to pick up Battle Fury as well, so his farm speed is going to be really good now in comparison to the TBs as well. He's going to be able to try and keep up.
First, he's got to make up the ground, though.
I actually think, considering Eurus is playing TB and Sylar's playing Troll, I actually think Sylar's doing okay this game. I feel like TB should be maybe slightly further ahead than he is at the moment, to be honest. I mean, Troll doesn't farm particularly slowly, but I feel like TB has the potential to farm even quicker. Especially if you use, like, meta to take ancient stacks or something.
So there's that Exorcism getting popped over bottom by Nothing to Say. They've got the Pit of Malice on a Yang. They're trying to take this tier 1 tower. Rubik makes the rotation, as well as Ori. Ori, who is coming in Invis, now gets the Astral Imprisonment out. They've got the Telekinesis on and Nothing to Say. The stolen Pit of Malice, and there's a lot of damage. Fire Snap Cookie, Sanity's committed. Jinq out of that one safely. Still on the run. Pit of Malice locks down Eurus. He's going to try and TP. So the Astral Imprisonment comes in. They get the Kona, Nothing to Say. Now the Dark Rift. Don't leave Innocence behind, as they'll lose Jinq as well as Nothing to Say, while opening up some silver lining space for Sylar.
Really good fight by Vici. Yeah, make sure they come and defend their tier 1, not giving anything away for free. And this OD is really strong now. I think that was the axe reveal from the OD. So maybe EHOME getting taken by surprise a little bit there.
Radiant's middle tower is under
one thing I
attack.
want to point out, by the way, I was wondering on Heroes like Underlord, after Soul Ring got all the nerfs that it did, whether people would still pick that item up, or if they would just go for the Arcane's Rush ready for Greaves. And it seems like Faith Beyond is doing that.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, lifted up and just shot down so quickly. Look at the disgusting amount of charges on this OD.
Dire's top tower.
Max mana increased by 850.
Is that a good time?
Jeez. We'll lose that in just a moment, though.
Nether Shawl.
Jinq. Slight. Searing Chains. Pit of Malice. And they've got the Fortune's End. Rubik, what does he have right now? He's got Crypt Swarm. They're not going to get this kill. The Stampede committed.
That feels really sad on Ember as well. The fact that he uses a Vessel Charge and gets like absolutely nothing for it straight away. Because I feel like they're going to be hard to come by at the moment.
Ooh, Eurus.
I say that, they're smoked up.
Oh, good Pit of Malice, but immediately the Mantle, the Fire Snap Cookie doesn't land there. Put the silence on him, but it's not going to be enough. Jinq gets hit with the Telekinesis. The damage is there. Ori with the Astral Imprisonment. This should be the kill. And it won't be. Actually, Remnant's away. And Jinq?
Yeah, that Astral was really bad by the OD. He just allowed Jinq to escape there. I'm not sure. I assume he thought that Ember didn't have a Remnant back, so had nowhere to jump to straight away. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like, because Rubik stole chains and he used them on the Ember, but he got put under at the same time. I feel like if they'd have just, you know, let the chains go its full duration, he probably would have died.
Silence is slow. You need to be careful about going onto the high ground like that. You do end up controlling the outpost one piece once again.
This OD is actually a lot scarier than I thought he would be at this point in the game. He's farmed really well.
Double damage.
Like, if you look at EHOME's side, they don't really have a hero that like bursts someone down really quickly, right? And when you're playing against this double save potential, it's going to be really hard to ever like initiate a fight and go in.
Feels like right now it's just been a struggle overall for EHOME.
They really need to try and take this first Roche as well. I think that's going to be, you know, massively key for them this game. They might have to pop Exorcism for it, but it's, you know, it's 100% worth it. I feel like if they don't get the Aegis and it somehow goes in the hands of the TB, then the game's going to be really difficult for them.
Telekinesis. Oh boy. Sylar Sanities comes in.
Look at
he
the
does get the Battle Trance out, so they're going to start doing some damage out onto Yang, but they've got the Astral Imprisonment, and this is, again, problematic for Sylar. Mortimer's Kisses comes in. It's not going to do nearly enough damage to scratch the surface of these heroes.
DUI is doing so much work this game on the Oracle, actually. Like, it feels like he's always in the right position. I've been really impressed with him. Hit stolen again.
Now this is what's giving them that extra bit of lockdown. Jinkyu will end up sliding and remnanting, but he'll die on the high ground. And so will Faith Beyond. So 3 heroes dead without buyback. Is the Purifying Flames enough? Yes.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
This is my problem with Phosphor Ember. Look, if you don't have a good start to the game and start like finding loads of pickoffs early on, I feel like it's kind of it's really sad to play. Because now you're kind of like put in this position where you're going to really struggle to make moves on the map. You don't ever really want to just commit to a fight, and if you ever get caught by the Rubik this game when he has Pit, feels like he just dies every single time. That root mechanic's so good against Ember.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
So he's got Pit of Malice. He's got level 4 in the Arcane Supremacy. So, what is that? 1.8 plus 26%? It's about point.
Come on, you can do this.
I can't.
It's just over, like, it's about 2.25,
right?
like, ish.
Well, it's adding 0.4-ish? Yeah, okay. So 2.2.
Oh no, the debuff's 40%. Sorry, you were talking about the spell amp. Debuff's 40%, so that's like... Yeah, it's pretty good. So it goes up to like 2.5 second stun duration on the Pit.
Does it? Is that... Because that's... The spell amp's 26%. But is that a debuff for the 1.8?
Debuff is like stun durations and things, right?
Okay.
So, but the thing is, it's not. You have to remember, it's not just the initial one either, because if you root somebody and then lift them up after the root duration's finished, they're gonna get rooted again by the Pit. So it's like a 5-second root duration basically. If you like use them in tandem with each other.
Tower is under attack.
All right. The more you know. Chat, you have permission to call me a 1K caster.
Top tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It's just playing Underlord into Rubik feels awful, because every time you give him a skill, you're like, oh my god, what? This feels absolutely horrendous. What's he got this time?
This is an Underlord picked into the Rubik, and now you have to take a look.
And there's a lift into the Pit again. And there's another Pit.
Metamorphosis comes in from Eurus. They've got the Venn diagram. They'll get the cone of Faith Beyond. Yule is out onto the Terrorblade. Nothing to stay, taking a lot of damage, but he'll survive with the Spirit Siphon, as well as the Exorcism getting popped. That'll force the hand of Vici to back up for a second, but PYW, he's trying to get Vision to get a Telekinesis out there. He won't be able to do so.
The fact that he has to use Exorcism, pop BKB, and then TP away shows very much how this game's going for EHOME. They are not in a good position at the moment. And do you remember I said if TP ever gets Aegis for himself, then the game's going to be like really difficult for EHOME? Well, they are currently in the pits.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Maybe
attack.
Jinku could steal?
Dire's structures are fortified.
He could try.
Timing? Oh, that pit mouse is gonna last forever.
Here comes the pit again.
Never, ever getting to leave. Never mind. I didn't say that.
Yeah, if they'd have overlapped the Purifying Flames from the Oracle, sorry, the Fortune's End, I mean, probably would have died.
Ooh, Sanity's on both these heroes. Innocence and Sylar drop before he gets the kill on Innocence. PYW takes credit for the one on Sylar. Wow. Just, this is the exact opposite of the EHOME we saw.
Run, DY.
Can't even kill the Oracle.
Oh, they popped Stampede. He was actually fine, but they I don't think they saw the DP anymore, so they just wanted to make sure. And they might be able to set up on her here now. Nothing to say. Gonna try and TP out. Yeah, he's gonna be fine.
God, can we kill that Rubik so we don't have to deal with the Pin of Malice anymore, please? I mean, it feels like he's had that for the last 15 minutes or so. Fire Snap Cookie trying to leave, ends up getting rooted by the Pin of Malice, placed down by PYW. Another kill there for the Rubik. And it looks like Jinkyu's dead as well.
Oh, he doesn't have pit on Rubik for 5. Ember's gonna be fine.
Alright.
The only way they kill him there is if they can pit him straight after the Astral finishes.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Dealing with those definitives, something you don't want to do. Every time I say someone's dead to rights, they normally survive.
You should commentate my pubs then. Just call me dead to rights all the time.
Are you down?
I'd find a way.
Oh god, Pit of Malice again. With the telekinesis. Look at this lockdown. Fire Snap Cookie as well as the Glimmer Cave. They've got the silence out on the 2 of these heroes, nothing to say, trying to move on forward, as well as the Mortimer's Kiss is flying forward, but you just look at what the OG can do to kite these heroes, and now nothing to say goes in with BKB looking over at DY. They'll steal the Spirit Siphon.
Oh my god, look at this
Metamorphosis, look at the damage. Now needs to run, no longer has the BKB, the Stampede committed, they've got the root with Clumsy Net. Telekinesis up, and, well, you do come back down into the Yules. You'll survive for a second longer, but PYW gets the kill. They've got the Fire Snap Cookie looking for this OD. Can they get the kill onto Ori at least? No, they can't. They lose Innocence. Down goes Faith Beyond. There's the Sunder from Eurus onto Sylar. They'll get the kill onto this Troll after the Battle Trance runs out, but it doesn't matter already. They've called GG.
Oh, yeah, this game was got out of hand really quickly, and it has to say that this DP's looked really lackluster for both teams in the games that it's been picked. So I'm wondering, going into Game 3, whether both these teams are going to value it as highly as they have in the first 2 games, because, as we said, both teams have played against it really well, and they understand that that first exorcism usage is possibly the most important one, and they're both ready every single time.
That was an underwhelming Death Prophet experience once again, and maybe we'll find a hero that or find a game where this Death Prophet will finally do something. It felt like Faith Beyond too. Like, we thought this Underworld was going to do a little bit better than he did. He ends up 1-4-5. Really doesn't add much to the overall